JWoodBeats.com.
I can do anything. Fuck your opinions and energy. I finally got the epitome. My biggest hindrance was God can't do nothing but fail. Greater is me. I never needed your deity. All of this human capacity. When it gets rough, I can pick myself up and prepare. I can do anything. Fuck your opinions and energies. I finally got the epitome. My biggest hindrance was God can't do nothing but fail. Greater is me. I never needed your deity. All of this human capacity. When it gets rough, I can pick myself up and prepare.
What's up, family?
Welcome.
Back into another Sunday.
Yes.
Another Sunday. And the funny thing about this one is I'm going to have to do my absolute best not to keep looking up to God, because unfortunately that's where our monitor is today. It is what was Zora Neale Hurston's book, Their Eyes Was Watching God. And so that's what today's session is likely going to feel like, because I'm going to forget to look at the camera and I'm going to be looking at the screen. So go ahead and get ready. So glad that you are all in here with us. So glad to have you. Thank you for hanging out with us. And for
first Sunday in August.
Leo season. Which is our 16th consecutive session. So we are in here, man. We are in here. I see Alyssa, Matt, Dale, Be Truthful is already in the building. Good morning, everybody. I hope y'all Sundays are going well.
Yes, thank you for jumping in. As you are tuning in, don't forget to like, comment, share, hit that notification bell if you haven't already, so you can get alerted any and every time we go live or post a new video. Also, check out the community page. Darante does well keeping y'all updated, asking questions, engage in the community on the community page. We love to get your feedback there as well, as you're tuning in on what's going on throughout the week. We're also looking for volunteers, so keep in mind we're going to touch on that in just a bit of what we're doing to help you find out how you can get involved a little bit easily, actually. And
absolutely.
If you haven't checked out the merch, go ahead and check that out as well, as we have merch and we're looking to create some newer merch, so keep out for that as well.
Absolutely. And because it is the first Sunday of the month, guess what that means? It's time for the Ex-Pastor Call-In Show. Let me throw that graphic up. I completely forgot. Happy Sunday. Bam, there's the graphic. You see it. That's happening tonight, 5 p.m. Central Time. Good morning, Sharon. 5 p.m. Central Time. That's going down tonight. The first episode was so incredible. Man, like I couldn't ask for a better partner than Kyle. He's just so natural when it comes to those type of conversations. We had some excellent callers, and it looks like we have some folk who are gearing up to participate tonight. So I'm really looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it.
People have still been watching it. So if you haven't checked out the first one, go ahead and check that out before you jump into the next.
That's right. So you can know what to expect tonight. You know what I'm saying? Why wait? Go ahead and get in where you fit in now. Get caught up. Also, Baby Girl did mention that we are working on a way to make it easier for volunteers to get involved. As I do kind of every week, I'm going to keep on doing it. Dale Gray, Advocating for Humanity, has just been absolutely phenomenal in getting involved in promoting our sessions. And then every Sunday, he's in there for the pre-session meet and greet and in there for the post-session hangouts. We're trying to find a way to restructure our stuff so we can participate in there a little bit more as well. The biggest issue is that we have all of our technology kind of tied up into this moment. So it's hard to unplug, replug, and plug back up. all the things, but we are working on it. And again, just want to give that major shout out to Dell for supporting. But we are making it easier for all of you to get involved. For those of you who are interested, we're actually building a volunteer tracking system, so that instead of highlighting one opportunity at a time during the sessions, or instead of having these multiplicity of forms that you can go through, you'll be able to go to one website and see all the opportunities that we envision and the specifics of each one. And I think I can go ahead and show you a little bit of what it looks like. It's not very pretty right now, but I will show it to you anyway. That's it. Let me move it over here. Yeah, I like that picture better. But yeah, this is the site or the application rather that I am working on. I got to figure out where my mouse is, y'all. It's on this side.
Yeah.
So it must be.
You did multiple screens.
Yes.
Trying to find it.
Here we go. So as you can see here, it's just all of our volunteer positions are not in here yet. And then we also have some equity positions for other projects. But DLDD World Group has so much going on, and that's why we have so many. So you see community engagement partner, Dale, right now. Again, shout out to Dale. Dale is our community engagement leader. And like, I could not be more excited for that. But you'll see all of these roles on the website. You'll be able to click those roles. You'll be able to see the responsibilities. As you can see, I am still working because responsibilities just says responsibilities. And then you'll also just be able to submit your interest very easily on here. So something that we're really excited about, and I'm hoping that it's definitely going to make it easier for you all. Oh, there's Patreon. I got to get back in here. I got to get control of this mouse.
Yes, but I'm loving that VTS. It's always nice to have, very clean, quick and easy to use.
For sure.
Click and figure out what's going on.
For sure. I took that all the way down and I didn't mean to, because I'm going to have to pull that back up later. But yeah. All right. So let's hit our announcements. If you haven't already, check out last week's sessions. Check out last week's Sunday sessions. Man, great. Unfortunately, because it was hot, we had to kind of retreat. And so I just did a pre-recorded video, but it was still great. For those of you who didn't know, that our air conditioner unit went out. And so it's been hot in this house, but this week we were able to get a portable unit and cool things down a little bit so that we could still come back live now. And of course, come back live for the ex-pastor call-in show.
But didn't that fit the series though? How to manage chaos.
Absolutely. How to manage chaos. Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, my new book is out. Christ Held Up. If you haven't seen it already, please go ahead and check it out. Please go ahead and check it out. And if you have seen it, please make sure to leave a review. If you've bought this book, Too Hot to Think. That's exactly what it was, Matt. If you've already read the book, if you've already purchased your copy, please make sure to leave a review. Reviews are incredibly helpful. Also, many of you have seen we are experimenting with restreaming on the channel. So previous content that we've had, we're restreaming it, marching towards being able to have a 24/7 stream on the channel. So I am definitely looking forward to that. And then also we got new merch coming to the store. New designs coming to the merch store. We're going to have a design for Poor Fella. Still trying to work around what that should look like. So I got to keep on my clothes. Oh, I get it. I get it. I told y'all, if I would have came last week, if we would have had to go live last week at noon, then I definitely would have been on his stripping. You know, it wouldn't have been good. Right. And so the other shirt the other design that we have coming is Keep Your Delusions to Yourself. So y'all keep a lookout on those. All right. So are we ready to jump in today's conversation?
Yeah, let's jump in.
All right. So we're closing out this series of conversations that we've been having called Please Don't Stop the Music. And that was just a creative way to kind of talk about finding harmony in the chaos of life, or finding ways to harmonize your life in the midst of chaos. And we talked about quite a bit in this series. We're going to start, today we're going to be focusing on the analogy of the gamer, dealing with some music. As you can see, the name of today is Game of Songs. So we are talking about both games and songs. Good morning, Scott. Glad to have you in here. And let me go ahead and full screen this so I don't look so awkward, because I feel like I'm just looking up to heaven the whole time. The whole time. See, that's a little better. I don't have to look too far up. But yeah, so today's focus is going to be the analogy of the gamer, and we're going to do a little quick recap before we do, because we're closing this series out. It's been 5 weeks. It was supposed to be 4, but because of our little heat wave interlude last week, we had to adjust. But for those of you who did participate last week and did watch last week, and I was there in the chat with you, then you already kind of know what we're going to be talking about today as we close out these series of conversations. And for those of you who didn't catch last week, I'll give you a hint. It's games and it's songs. Now, actually, what I really wanted to do, and this is just kind of sowing that seed for as we continue to build the community and build volunteers, that people who have the creative types of minds can help us out, because this would have really been cool to have some type of interactive game playing today. Yeah. I was gonna set up a Kahoot, but I wanted it to be like polls, so it'd be like, out of these songs, which songs best identify with your life type of thing. But you got to pay extra for the polls, and I'm not quite there yet. But so we're gonna focus on the analogy of the gamer. But before we do, let's do a quick recap. Babe, you want to start with the dancer?
Yeah, so we started out with the analogy of the dancer, and we talked about how the dancer focuses on discipline, management, and nutrition, really reorganizing, reshaping the life of and building up to that great performance. So we talked about the dancer looks and changes and adjusts because they're gearing up for that one great performance, or sometimes it's a competition or things like that, and we focused on what do they do to get that together. And so embracing the chaos, managing the chaos, and getting you to that place where you can really bring it all out.
Absolutely. And the biggest lessons that I like for us to pull from that, or that I like to think about when I think about the analogy of the dancer, is it's all in the realm of control. That's what we like. That's why we like to use that the dancer when thinking about these things, is because it's this. These are, what are the things that I can control? So it's what can I change, what can I control, and what can I count on? And then can I create plans around those things to help me get where I want it to go?
Absolutely.
Thank you, babe, so much for that breakdown of the dancer. And then the idea is embracing chaos as a constant that as of now cannot be avoided, but can be managed. We respond to chaos with management. We respond to complexity with community. And then that's how we got into this conversation about the conductor, which was week 2. Week 2, we got into this conversation dealing with the conductor. And for the conductor, the focus was cooperation, cooperating with other people, working with other people, which leads us to community, which is the established cooperation. It's not just some one-off cooperation. It's not just, hey, well, can I get some brown sugar or something like that? But it is community is the establishment of cooperation, and then support, which is what makes community what it is. And all of these are in the realm of the group and in the spectrum of influence, So while when working as a dancer, it's more so like, okay, what can I control? What can I count on? What's going on, Joel? Glad to have you here, man. When dealing with from the conductor's perspective, which again is about cooperation, community, and support, the idea is who can play a part.
Who can play a part?
Who can play a part? That's what the conductor looks for. Who can play this part? Who can play this part? Who can play this instrument? Who can sit here? Who can play first chair? Who can play second chair? It's so funny because we when we were coming out of high school, there was this movement for the BFF. You remember the BFFs?
The best friend.
Best friends forever. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm.
The idea became that there's this best friend forever.
Yeah.
As amazing as that may sound, the thought that I had was like, well, wow, that means you're now limiting what friendship is. It's just like there's this best friend. And as opposed to, no, who can play these parts?
Who can play the parts?
You know?
And that may change.
And absolutely.
And that's the thing I do love about the conductor analogy, because it's talking about pieces coming together for one major goal.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And that, because that's what the sound of music is. The sound of music is pieces coming together. That's why I'm glad that we did this series after we did How to Human, because I don't know if y'all noticed, but the big push here is for us to learn how to appreciate each other. You know, I feel like that's what kind of that's what we kind of lost in religion and religious superstition and political superstition and all other types of superstition, is that we create these us's versus thems. And then we also create these very romantic ways of envisioning life that become fantastical, that gives you these exceptional expectations for other people that kind of get you grounded in disappointment, and just kind of robs other people of, it was like an official position in your life. Yes. Robs other people of defining which parts they want to play. And so sometimes you choose people for the part you want them to play without even considering what part they want to play.
Yeah. And if they can play the part.
And if they can play it. Yeah. Oh man. Like I think, you know, with all my years and pastoring, man, like it was when counseling folk, I saw that often, especially like with marital relationships. I saw that often of two people who are absolutely frustrated because they picked each other before knowing what parts they wanted to play.
Ooh, and that's good.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
pick each other before they knew what parts you wanted.
But isn't that partly because you felt like you didn't have a right to pick your own part?
Yeah.
Like if you was a man, your part was picked for you. You're a provider, you're a protector, you don't cry, you work, you pay the bills, you're the breadwinner. If you're the woman, your part has already been picked for you. You know,
it's like the same song being played, and so we automatically
And the sad thing is, it's somebody else's song. You didn't even get to write your lyrics. It reminded me of that scene weirdly, that scene out of What's Love Got to Do with It, where Tina Turner singing Angela Bassett, church house, schoolhouse, and something like that. And then her and Ike end up getting in a fight. But before they do, she say, I know the words, I wrote them, you know. And it's like, that's kind of how you got to get with your life. You know, like, I know the words for my life. I wrote these words. It's my life. And so the conductor, you know, the analogy of the conductor is getting to this place where when people come into your life and as people are a part of your life, you're intentional about trying to figure out which part they want to play and if you have a part for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's good stuff. I didn't mean to go all that deep.
It's a good analogy.
It is. Because the idea is really just embracing complexity as both the response to managing chaos and the result of managing chaos. And I think I've said that for the past 2 or 3 weeks, but I can't stress it enough. Complexity arises from managing chaos. And from responding to chaos, you know, so either way around it, it's like if you don't manage chaos, life gets complex. If you do manage chaos, life gets complex. There's no way around it, you know, as of now. Like there may be something else that's in the woodworks that's going to change everything, you know, but as of now, like the one thing you can count on for sure or two things you can count on for sure is chaos and complexity and the correlation of relationship betwixt the two. Oh, I like that. I used betwixt. I don't think I've ever used that word before in my life. All right, babe, you want to hit philosopher and then I'll piggyback on you a little bit?
Yeah, so the third analogy we focused on was the philosopher. And the philosopher focuses on understanding, capacity, and intention, all in the realm of the larger society and in the spectrum of cooperation. Embracing challenges as a perpetual reality that we currently have the capacity to organize ourselves to meet. We respond to challenges with an interrogation of capacity. And what I love about the philosopher analogy is you get to a point where you bring some type of wisdom to your life. So after you're disciplining yourself and managing what you have to manage and bringing things into handling what you control and being cooperative and supporting within the community, knowing the piece or the song that you play, you get to a point where it's like, okay, let me bring some understanding to my life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Oh, I'm glad you just said it that way, because that's the point. Like, we start with the dancer because it's just like, hey, you got to do what you got to do to survive. You know, you start with the dancer, and it's just like, you don't. Most people, like, if you find your life in the midst of chaos and you're just like, holy crap, I'm in chaos. Holy fuckity fuck. You don't always have time to get an understanding of all the pieces on the board, of all the players, of even the game itself. The only thing that dancer knows is that there is a performance coming up, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to do my best for that performance. Other things may fall apart. Another great book, All Things Fall Apart. Other things may fall apart, but I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to control the things that I can control. And then the conductor moves on to, I'm going to start finding other people that are moving at a similar pace, moving at a similar rhythm, interested in some of the things that I am, so we're not creating too much friction in each other's lives. Oh, I got to find Jesse Gender now. That we're not creating too much friction in each other's life, but it's finding out what parts can we play. And this again goes back to that how to human conversation of, my biggest challenge is trying to push people to recognize the value in other people, which is why you notice I'm not going to bandwagon conversations where we're talking negatively for the most part about individuals. I don't do that, or class of individuals or anything else, because what I want us to do is to break away from those religious superstitions, or what I would like to see a world of. Doesn't matter what I want us to do. You know what I'm saying? My wants don't rule the world. But what I would like to see is, us as a species learning how to see that each other are extremely valuable. And like your aunt wrote a song years ago where her words were, there are no extra people. Now, mathematically, that may not be correct, but we get the spirit of it. And that, there are no extra people in mansions or in ghettos, which just basically mean all people are valuable. All people are necessary. All people are needed. We need each other. I think when you really, for me, coming out of the fog of religion and coming out of the fog of superstition, helped me embrace the reality of we actually live in a daily precarious situation. This is why I'm trying to push people to be their best. Yeah. Because we are literally space monkeys on a floating rock, so, and at any moment, a bigger fucking rock can knock us out the sky. And that'll be the end of space monkeys. No. So we need people who are trying to be their best, do their best, live their best, and finding out what that means to them.
So you basically saying take advantage.
Take advantage. Like, just like look around, and it's just like, hey, this little rock could get knocked out the sky at any given moment. Something could go into the sun and make a solar flare that's so big that I know we got a lot of little petty issues, but man, I think we need more people seeing the value in people and understanding that we need to kind of see this planet like a ship. We need to see this planet like a ship and understand that everybody who is on this planet, even beyond our species, is a part of the crew of that ship. Right, and we need every single one of them to sustain this ship.
All hands on deck.
All hands on deck. This is all hands on deck. Literally, and it goes beyond just, us as humans. It goes into the aspect of, the other animals who help preserve this ecosystem for us. We have to become more in tuned and knowledgeable of these things. And I think fixing our people relationships and putting a greater value on our relationships with others, even when those relationships don't feel the way that we want them to feel yet, it's learning other people. I think it's just a great start.
Absolutely. And that's where knowing the capacity of yourself and others, and having the attention of how to use that capacity. Yes.
Because once you can, do what you need to do to get yourself disciplined together, right? Yeah. Because you can't somebody used to say something like, you can't outrun a bad diet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that used to be a saying: you can't outrun a bad diet, you can't out exercise a bad diet. And so you can build, you can find healthy community, but if you don't work on becoming a healthy person, you know what I'm saying, then you're gonna have issues. You know what I'm saying? And so the focus becomes self-discipline first, self-management first, figuring out what I want to be, which is always gonna, or who I want to be, which is always gonna make it easier. We don't have to put Thrones of David's up. He's a troll. But you know, it's always going to get us to that place where you're going to need to work on yourself first, and that'll get you to the things that you can control. But then there, you're going to need that community, and then community can take you much further. But then even after you do all of that, you still need that breathing room to actually be able to look around and say, okay, what have I learned? What do I now understand that I didn't understand before? Right. Because this is ultimately how you're going to, because here's the thing. Yesterday's complexity will not be tomorrow's complexity.
Exactly. As we see, as time go on, just in our lifetime.
Yes.
Things have evolved and upgraded, if you will.
Absolutely.
In so many ways. So.
And that's why getting understanding becomes so important. Like I can use a simple example. We keep losing remotes in this house, remote controls. And it may be me that's losing them. It's always the Roku remote. That we lose, and it's always the Roku remote to my TV, you know, the one in here, our TV. So it's always that Roku remote. So then I end up going and taking the kids' Roku remote just to cut my TV on, and then I switch over and watch the Fire Stick from the TV. But I just recently not even realized, but just kind of reminded myself, like, dude, it's 2024. You don't actually need a remote. This is a smart television. You have a smartphone. Right. You can turn the phone on with your you can turn the television on with your phone, and I know that's a very small thing. Yes, I know that's a very small thing, but to me, it's a reminder that you got to always continue to kind of engage and inspect where you are.
Yes, and be willing to use what seems as if it's new, but it's better use.
Yes.
I'm trying to get the words of what I want to say.
Keep talking. I got to look something up real quick before I say it.
Yeah, because we have to be willing to use our tools, because I'm finding even in different generations, they're not, everybody isn't necessarily willing to use the tools that they have, and the evolution of those tools, right? So some may say, oh no, the old remote works for me.
Yep.
Or some may say, hey, the dial-up TV still works for me. And so you have to be open to how things are changing in order to better your life as well.
Ooh, oh my God, glow in the dark Target sleeves. I've got glow in the dark sleeves remote. I've got to get those. I've got to get those. But the way you mentioned that about tools, it reminds me of something that I've been saying for the past few years, because tools are such a part of who we are as a species, and that was, again, something else that I was completely blinded to while being in religious superstition, right? So when I was in religious superstition, the most powerful thing I had was supernaturalism. That I could lay hands on people and they fall out sometimes. You know, that was a powerful thing. And it's like, oh no, you dumbass. You are overlooking, like, tools. Tools are amazing. And it made me think of, I don't know if y'all remember the John Henry folklore, the fable. And it was about John Henry, you know, worked with a hammer steel or something, like steel hammer or something like that on the train tracks. And then they came up, and then industry came. Yes, keep forgetting to use the app. The steam engine came on or something, and so they had the metal version of the thing, and it's beating it out. And John Henry was like, "Oh, I don't want to use that. I don't need that. This is good enough for me." And he proved that he could do just as good of a job. I want to say the struggles of being willing to spend. Yes, give all before I'm in that camp. I want to give everything and have. But yep. Oof. But so he proved that he could perform just as well as that new tool. Wow. But didn't realize that the purpose of the tool was so you didn't have to.
See, he said something.
And lost his life.
Wow.
And so, and I love fables like that because fables tend to be open to interpretation and are typical. And so for the first few years that I heard that fable, the interpretation was the danger of technology. But that's because I heard it in the context of people who were 100% anti-technology, anti whatever. And the idea was like, technology drove him to kill himself. And it was like, well, no, when you actually explore the story, him trying to prove that he could do better than the technology is what did it. And it's like, and that would be equivalent to him trying to prove that he could do better than the steel hammer. Like, that's for me now, like that's the idiocy of it. You're not anti-technology, you're anti-new technology, because the steel hammer is technology. It is just as much as a tool. Right. And you at one point in your life recognize that steel hammer was better than your hands or better than a rock. And now something else has come along that's better than that steel hammer. And this is so good from the philosopher's analogy, because that, again, it's the reminder that what worked for me yesterday may not work for me today. Come on. And Sharon, you are absolutely right. Those are my tools. Prayer. My praise is a weapon. Oh, don't wait till the battle is over. Shout right now. Won't he do it? You're
preaching today.
Preaching. This is good stuff. But that becomes the necessity of, to me, or that becomes the beauty of the analogy of the conductor, is this idea of staying in constant it really does, doesn't it, Maya? Staying in constant interrogation of where I am in society, how society's doing, and all of those things, and remembering that what worked for me yesterday may not work for me today. I know, man, like I have some incredibly phenomenal people in my family who gave some horrible advice to their children, and then their children went and gave that same horrible advice to their grandchildren, because the idea was that what worked for us 40 years ago or 50 years ago, that's what has to work for us today. And so what it typically, it wasn't just family members. I watched educators doing the same thing. I remember being in high school. I remember sitting in classes watching those teachers give advice to students that was reflective of a world that no longer existed.
So it's like they timed out.
The
world they were living.
But see, that's the danger of superstition. The danger of superstition is it's already figured out and I don't have to figure it out. That's okay, boomer. Wow. Okay, I got to look that up now.
Useless tools. I love that.
Right? Yes. Yeah, I need better tools. I need tools that work. But man, that's so good. That is so good. Okay. So, and that's just recap, right? Yeah. That's all just recap. But the big point becomes embracing challenges as a perpetual reality, and until we're in a reality that's not the case. But as of now, because of entropy, challenges are a perpetual reality. But we do have the capacity to organize ourselves around those challenges to meet those challenges. And so we respond to challenges with an interrogation of our capacity and the capacity of our tools. Yeah. Oh, I love this. Okay, so embrace the reality of where, here it is. Okay, so embrace the reality of what here means across the full spectrum of your existence. All right, so now we're back into the new analogy. Now we're in today's conversation. Only took us a half hour to get there, but I think it's going to be good. Yeah. So I have two thought experiments that I use, and one is more relevant to this conversation than the other, but I want to hit both of them. And I use these thought experiments, and I actually shared them in a recent video this week. I think it was the Friday or Saturday video, Keep Rising, which I think the focus was, where do we go from here? And that's kind of what this kind of thought experiment does, and what this analogy is about, and what this whole conversation of series is that your life is here. Where do you go from here?
Where do you go?
Okay. Here is your starting place, right? Mm-hmm. Where do you go from here? Because the way that I used to do things, the way that I used to approach life was, my life is here. Where do I want to be? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Problem is, I don't have the power to make that jump.
So you got to start where you are.
You have to start where you are. So the question doesn't become, where do I want to be? Is where do I go from here to get where I want to be? It's the next step is more important than the final step, because it's the next step that's going to get you there.
Yeah.
Knowing where you want to end up will not really help you go where you want to go unless you're going to take the next step.
You made me think of the Atomic Habits book.
Oh yeah,
it kind of mentions taking those tiny margins and changing adding tiny habits that will help you get to the bigger goal.
Which that is actually one of the major talking points and thought points of the gamer is iteration. Yeah. And so it's no longer feeling like you have to do everything in 10 years. It's like, okay, but what can I do in a week?
Right.
What can I accomplish in a week? That doesn't have to look like a year's worth of accomplishment. Just needs to look like a week's worth of accomplishments.
Yes. Get ready.
Oh snap! But finally, that is beautiful. See, I got to read it because there's money on it. Got paid yesterday. That feels like the start of a song. Still catching up. Still feels like a song. But finally, here's a contribution to this, your cause I believe in so fervently. I love you so much, Joel. We appreciate you. And brother, this is our cause. We are all in this together. Thank you.
Well, I still had to have it. Y'all going like, thank you.
Oh yeah. You remember you did it in the gas station one time and the guy was like he was Muslim and he was kind of offended. He was like, "Oh no, that's not what I do." He's like, "Nah." And I think it's because she thought he was Hindu. And it was like, "Oh no, we don't I know."
Yeah, it was just that. Just praying hands.
No, this is what black people do to look humble. This is, we've been doing this our whole lives to look humble. Oh, thank you. I do it all the time. But in all honesty, thank you so much, Joel, Mr. Difficult. Of course, you are a friend of my mind and heart. We love you. We're so glad to have you a part of our community. Woohoo! All right, that just took me out a little bit. But all right, so. Iteration. And that's the thing, is like you could break things down. You can break your goals down. Don't let other people judge your goals. We're really big. You've been really big about micro wins. Yes. Your win and your goals don't have to fit anybody else's size expectations. And I think sometimes that's really what keeps people from making progress, is you think that you got to have this big, audacious, bombastic type of situation going on, and that it's the small strokes that makes the masterpiece.
And that's what really got us here now, because if
Absolutely.
You would have saw us several years ago, you've been like, "Oh my gosh, Lord, let's help these people."
Oh yeah, no, we literally had a GoFundMe account. Absolutely, yes. We literally had a GoFundMe account. Like it was bad.
But we took those tiny steps and jumps, and then they turned into like a little bit more and a little bit more here, and we were able to kind of land, and we're still not where we want to be, but
no,
we understand the process.
I don't know if we'll ever be where we want to be, both from a sociological and psychological perspective, because it seems that a major factor of our species is appetite. And that is the more we taste and the more we thirst, the more we hunger and the more we thirst, Who micro goal? That's right. Yeah. Wrongs on a ladder, hit those small goals. We live kind of iteratively now. And a major part of that was going through that period of losing everything and trying to really figure out what life was without the veil of superstition. And I know for me, for the first time, giving myself permission to just call a spade all the way across. I don't have to pretend like it's anything other than what it is. If I'm being lazy right here, I'm being lazy right here. If I'm being naive right here, I'm being naive right here. I know for me, I dumped every bit of who I was out on a table and said, I'm not going to attach any positive or negative values to it. I just want to see who I am, what I'm made of, and whether or not it gets me to my goals.
So stop relying on God's going to get me through this. And then you go through years and years, and sometimes you find yourself in the same spot, and you're like, well, I thought God was going to get me through this. And then you realize, no, I need to
get me through this.
Yeah. I need to figure things out.
And then the most powerful thing is you begin to realize that you're capable.
You're capable
Of get like, that's why I do talk about capacity for so much, because my prayer for so many years was, I can't handle this. This is too much for me to bear. And everything that I prayed that about was a situation that other people was dealing with too. You know, and it wasn't a new situation, which means historically people had dealt with these situations, which meant I was actually lying to myself by telling myself, oh, you can't handle this. You can't deal with this. And that's what superstitious language had did for me. It had given me a script of lying to myself, constantly reinforcing what I could not do. And so when we finally kind of stepped away from that thing, I y'all heard me. I described myself as hyperproductive. I became hyperproductive because then it became, my statement used to be, I could do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Now it has become, I don't even want to do all things. Who the fuck wants to do that? But now, like, all the things that I want to do, I really don't need Christ to do those things. And if I did, that would speak to my inadequacy.
Or give you permission. Because some people wait for permission to do things that they can already be doing.
Do you know how many people have not explored their capacity because they live in a social context that doesn't give them permission to explore their capacity? You have to think about how many children who grow up with incredible curiosity, but then it's beat out of them by society. No, don't play in that puddle. No, don't do this. Don't do that. You know, religion allowed me to call it spiritual warfare. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Loose here, Satan.
Every time.
Oh my goodness. And it never worked. You know, the times that it did work, I had to work it and then refuse to give myself the credit for working it, therefore not learning that I was capable of working it. Sound like Bishop Long there.
Today.
Yes.
Any little win, I hear people still say, oh, God got me that job. God got me this house, or God got me this, or God did this, and not realizing that they had to do the work to do it. But then have parties celebrating that it was done.
And like, this should be a praise party then, you know?
Right.
But I think, you know, those are the things that we do try to highlight, is that people think that's harmless. And it's like, no, it's not harmless. If you think that it was nobody but God, then you won't pay attention to what it is that you did. So when you run into a situation where you need to do it again, you're going to be expecting God to do something that you had the capacity to do. And you do need to learn how to pat yourself on the back. Stretch out that fucking muscle. Pat yourself on the back. That's the only way you get the confidence you need to really navigate life. When you remember, there used to be a song, if he did it before, he could do it again. Same God right now, same God back then. Like, you got to be able to say that about yourself. No, if I did it before, I could do it again. Same me right now is the same me back then. Like, even when I was transitioning out of the church, I started trying to get pastors and praise and worship leaders just experimentally to say, hey, what if all of these things you believed about God, what if you started believing them about each other? What if you started singing these things about it to each other? What if you start telling each other, you're good, man, you're good? Like, what if you start telling each other, I believe in you? Like, why do you have to give it to this God who apparently has everything? Why is it not more needful for people? If I don't succeed, it just wasn't part of God's plan. Oh my goodness.
That's weird.
And that's so damaging, because failure is a necessary part of the plan. But if you consider failure the end, failure is the sign that I should stop. It's the sign that I should stop.
Why even worry about it?
And that's going to rob you of the ability to build on that and take your life further and learn from that. Failure is one of the most valid ways of learning that I have ever found. It's one of the reasons that I don't like the way that the public education system uses tests. Now, I think tests are incredible educational tools. I don't think they are I don't think they're great measurement tools.
Right.
As at least measuring where you go. Like, a test shouldn't be what you take to get out of a class, to pass a class. A test should what you take to measure your own understanding, to measure your own knowledge. And you should be able to take those tests over and over again, because the test is one of the best ways I've ever found to identify what you don't understand.
Exactly.
Even when I worked with the children before, when they were younger, the idea was always don't try to just force what you do understand. Figure out what you don't understand and just live there for a while. And that's what tests help you do. They help you realize that's what failure helps you do. It helps you realize I thought I knew this, but I don't know that. So now I know my blind spot. Now I know. So and this is why, even when it comes to volunteering, I tell people, hey, look, just jump in and fuck some shit up. That's it. If you're afraid of doing that, you're not going to grow. That's right. I believe in my physical friends. Yes. You're gonna fuck something up. I think Wes reached out to me last night, and he was like, "Ooh, I'm nervous about this because I think I'm gonna fuck it up." And I was like, "Hey, you're gonna fuck it up. Yeah. This is how life works. So don't even be afraid of that happening. Go ahead and know that it's going to happen. It may not happen today, may not happen tomorrow, but at some point you're gonna do something, and it's not gonna work as right as you thought it was. That's okay. All right." Fix it, learn from it, because it showed us the gaps to focus on. That's right. That's right. I love it.
And that's why I love just jumping back to the dancer, because the dancer understands when you're learning new skills or any skills, starting out, whether you're been in for a while or you're just starting, you're going to fall.
Yes.
You're going to scrape your legs, your arms. It's your toes are going to, you may get a strain in your muscle, but you keep going and you keep doing the same skill over and over. You find little tweaks here, what you need to do. And eventually it comes to a place where you don't fall when you're performing that skill.
That's right.
You built that muscle.
You built that muscle. Yeah. And I think I want people to kind of understand, when it comes to your individual success, your goals, that you're going to have to build those muscles to get there. If you haven't built, and that's why you got to give yourself grace. If you've never did a pirouette before, think a pirouette. Is it pirouette?
Pirouette.
If you've never done a pirouette before, thinking that you're going to master it the first time is superstitious thinking. Yeah. And sometimes the disappointment that we have in ourselves is superstitious. When you are disappointed in yourself because you couldn't do something that you had never done before, that's an unsubstantiated disappointment.
And that's where I would be sometimes. And that's just with anything, even just learning new concepts in school. So it's hard to clean. You gotta do a cleanse of the mind.
Well, I think so much of this happened because things got taught as natural. So you're naturally smart, you're naturally athletic, right. And that is never an accurate depiction of it, unless we're talking about natural in the sense that all people are natural. There is nobody who is just good just because they were born that way. They might have been doing it longer than you, and that's the part of the story that we don't often catch. But when we do that, I know, especially for when it comes to education and academics, this ideology was very damaging. And I saw it a lot, in our community. I'm pretty sure you heard it a lot sometimes, where people literally said things about their kids, well, everybody's not smart, where everybody's not going to be able to do this. And it's just oh, this is a gross misunderstanding of how learning works. And so it really became this idea that some people are naturally smart and other people are not. And we have no evidence for that reality. From what I understand, and I think I've said it on Sunday sessions before, everybody's smart and everybody's stupid. Everybody is smart in something and everybody is stupid in something. Intelligence is not a status that you reach. It is literally already a part of your existence. Some people's intelligence goes into video games, some goes into hip hop history. Eugenics. Ooh. It goes in the hip hop. It goes into all different types of things. But we all have things that we know and that we're able to learn. And so this idea that some people are smart, yes, that people, and that's what it is, Joel. It's this idea that someone is inherently better than you. And so life is just going to be easier for them because this information comes to them naturally.
So it gives you permission to stay stuck.
Yeah. Well, it literally gives you a reality. I mean, I watch parents do this to their kids where it's just like, don't worry about it, baby. You're not meant to get stuff like that. And it's like, oh, don't do that to your child.
Yeah.
Please don't do that to your child.
Yeah.
You know? Because like what you learn is like even people who are considered on the spectrum and may not fit a societal norm have levels of brilliance that are often beyond what we could have ever even guessed or imagined. And so it's high time that we just start looking at people like, hey, everybody's valuable. You know, they may need some encouragement. They may need some support. They may need some understanding. And that's what we should commit to being for each other. Hell, they may just need some space. They may need you to get off their fucking back and stop breathing down their neck and just let them figure it out. Yeah. And that's what most people have. I don't want to say most, but that's what many people have been robbed of. The opportunity to just figure shit out. Dang, we stayed on that. This is good.
So we were talking about two
thought experiments. First one is life as a movie. And so these thought experiments I use for real. Like I use these. I often tell people, and maybe this will make you think I'm narcissistic. And I'm gonna be honest, as a true narcissist, I don't give a fuck. All right. So I view my life as a movie. Yeah. And I am the main character in this movie. Right? Now, the reason I do this is not just to feel good about myself and stroke my ego. You know, this actually helps me explore the tone, the setting, and the genre of my life as is, including my role in it as a character in a very relatable way that allows me to be somewhat judgmental without being condemning. So I can ask myself stuff like, if I'm watching me in this movie right here, am I going to be happy about what this character is doing? Right. Am I going to want to root for this character right now? What are my feelings? Because I notice, and this is just kind of tapping into what suspension of disbelief gives us. Yeah. We get really opinionated about things that we've suspended our disbelief about. Mm-hmm. So like people are really opinionated about Marvel movies. People are really opinionated about DC movies. People are really opinionated about Star Wars. Basically, if you got a movie and a show that you watch, that's right. We are all our own main character. If you got a movie or a show that you watch, you likely have a lot of opinions about the plot, about the characters, the outfits. And so allowing myself to kind of play with that, it allows me to have those opinions about myself, being judgmental without being condemning. And so it's able to look at your character, how he's living his life, and kind of determine like, what is this character? So it's like, if I'm watching my character in a movie, what would I be yelling at this motherfucker right now on the screen? Don't do it. Don't do it. Harry fucking Potter. That's right. That's right. And so it's a creative way to give voice to underlying and often unspoken thoughts and concerns while exploring your character's capacity to further impact the story. And it's truly just realizing that we have a habit of vicariously living through other people. We have a habit of saying, well, if I was you, I would do this. And if I was you, I'd do this. Living my life, visualizing my life as a movie allows me to do that to myself. To be like, well, Darante, if I was you, I'd do this. Oh, damn. That's right. I am me. I can go ahead and do that. Use the force, Luke. Get that force in there. Now that is a, because it, you know, and it's for anybody who got where that reference actually comes from is going to get why it's so ironic that you said Michael Jackson there, because that was, I did, of course it is from Star Wars, but I did the Family Guy version, which was a reference to dang, I cannot remember the old guy's name, but he was a pedo. So yeah, that goes there. No. Yeah, use the force, Luke. It was hilarious. I am a Family Guy fan, which you're gonna see in this episode. Okay, so we can get to the game. In this episode. All right, so the other one is not only life as a movie, but then life as a game. Yeah. Right? Specifically an open world survival RPG. Herbert, that was him. Yes, Herbert. That's him. That's him. Yes, he was one of my favorite characters. I cannot lie.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, yes. Funny, my cult leader is oh, that was funny. Oh, that is wow. Yeah. I read between those lines. Oh, and there's so many jokes between those lines. Damn it. Okay, I'm coming back out. All right, so this helps me open world survival RPG, right? Role playing game. Envisioning life as an open world survival RPG, because let's just face it, that might be what this is at the end of the day. But let's do some work here. If your life was a game, what is the purpose of your character? What is the genre of your game? And what is the name of your game? That's the thought experiment.
Well, I guess one good thing, most of the games, everybody's trying to get to the next level.
Yeah, that's like, that was definitely church for me. That was my character's purpose in church. My church purpose was constantly getting to the next level.
And it's preached.
It's absolutely. Yeah. But the next level was always spiritual. It was always prophetic. It was always this win, this move that God was going to do. This next level, and then because of the win, the finances would come. What would you say the purpose of your character is now outside of church? It's such a hard story, right? It's such a hard question.
Yeah, because it's a few ways I would answer that, but part of that is really feeding into myself and continue to add to myself, continue to grow. And we talk about piece by piece, and no longer, because when coming out of high school is like, okay, what's your 5-year plan? And then,
yes.
If you don't reach that 5-year plan, then your life is over. You failed.
Yep.
And so now it's more so, okay, what's the next skill I can learn to get to the next place? It's not necessarily fully the next level, because that means I gotta finish worry about this whole level and ending here, versus skipping what's in between.
So it's the next step.
Yeah,
it's
really,
like step by step.
Next step. Yeah.
I think it was Denzel Washington one time when he was asked, how do you build a successful career, and his answer was brick by brick. And I think that is so appropriate, because there does still seem to be this occupation or preoccupation with the idea of hitting this next level, but it now becomes, instead of me just expecting some whirlwind of life to instead of expecting Mr. Henry Drummond to come adopt me and my brother, or to get a Mary Poppins to change my life, or the King and I comes in, and instead of expecting any of these magical, type of events to happen, it's now step by step. And so it's I would say that's kind of the purpose of my character and my game as well too, is to experience and to learn. So RPGs, I am a fan of RPGs, like of almost all types. What was Saints Row reelected is one of my favorite games of all times. I also enjoy all of the Assassin's Creed, but I'm the type of person that I like to beat the game and then enjoy the world. It's the open world play that I prefer. I don't like pre-assigned missions. How I want to do that? I don't like predestination. I don't want to be predestined. I want to do what I want to do. I'll go see the barista when I'm ready to go see the barista and collect the 3 bars and all that stuff. Yes, that lottery mentality. Absolutely. You hit the lottery. But perhaps my favorite game has been Ancestors, which if any of the game developers of Ancestors are watching my content, you owe me money, because I talk about your game a lot. And play it. Yes. Ancestors is an open world game that, it's basically early human history before Homo sapiens. So you got the Homo naledi, Homo anthroposis. I'm sure I'm not saying that right, but you got a whole bunch of the different right, pay me, right? You got all of the different or not all, but quite a bit of the different species, and your job is you enter the world as one of the earlier versions, and your job is to evolve, is to explore the map and evolve. You evolve by eating, you evolve by cooking, by making tools and doing all different types of things, changing your diet. And it's such an incredible game that I want them to evolve the game to take us all the way into the humankind, and then throw a little Fortnite version in there so I can find other people to attack or cooperate with. You know, my choice, because those are the choices you have as a human: fight or flight. Now let me stop. But no, the purpose of that game and the purpose of the character in that game is, man, it's just to evolve.
I love that.
You know, I think that's what I've kind of accepted as the purpose of my character in my game, and that's how I play the game. And like, I know, and maybe I get that from the competitive nature of some of my cousins who literally played their video games, and I could never beat them, who played their video games to be the best. You know, and
that's where it is.
Yeah.
Especially in the competition game.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were like, you know, like they were the kind of like you'd hate playing Mortal Kombat with them because you weren't gonna get a hit in. Yeah. And it's because like when they played the game, their mindset was, I'm going to evolve. I'm gonna get better and better and better and better. And I think that I definitely, my character has adopted that, especially in the last few years. Man, and so and the genre of my game is probably, it's just exploration. I think
that fits.
It fits.
Yeah.
Because I think when I was coming out of church, you and I had this conversation. I said, you know, a lot of people's thirst is power, and I'm like, I'm not thirsty for power. Like, and you've seen situations where when I could have been lead, and I'm like, no, I'll take second. Like, power is not, it's just not my thirst, but knowledge is. Like, and it's because knowledge informs my experience. It informs my exploration. It helps me understand. Like, it's so odd to look at the world on this side versus, and knowing that I was looking at the world before with the same exact eyes and not having information to inform those visions and those experiences. So seeing life, living life, but missing information to help me understand and even appreciate the life that I'm living and experiencing.
And you know what? You've done a good job of filling in your blind spots.
Oh,
and there's always blind spots we have to fill, right? But
working on it.
Just being able to fill in the ones that you weren't able to in the past, it makes you feel better at life. Like, I can do this. I can finish this. I can get to where I want to get to, in a sense. So I think that's great, and that's something for all of us to continue to do. Like, we can fill in the blind spots. We don't have to stay.
No.
Stay.
No. You don't have to. You don't have to keep getting sniped. You know what I'm saying? Like the first few times I played Fortnite, I got sniped over and over and over again. And there's nothing I can do to stop these people from sniping me. The only thing I can do is learn how to play the game differently. And again, and that's I think you can sometimes tell that's the way I've embraced life now, is that it is an open world survival RPG, you know, and other people are here who don't mind taking you out. There are people like, if I could just go on Fortnite and just explore the world and just build things, I promise I wouldn't shoot anybody. I would leave everybody alone and I would just explore the world. And that's why I like RPGs, because they're so much like real life. I don't get to choose what other people do. Yeah. But I can be mindful of what they're doing and move accordingly, right?
So what would you say the name of your game would be?
Ooh, the name of my game is probably Keep Rising. Yeah. Just keep rising. I like you know, it's kind of dope. Okay, so we're gonna move from games a little bit, because another reason why I like a lot of RPGs and just a lot of where games ended up moving to, period, is that you could put your own soundtrack in the games. And so I did love that about not Assassin's Creed, but the other one I mentioned earlier, Saints Row. Being able to have music. Ooh, and the one with Giancarlo Esposito in it that me and Maya play sometimes. Far Cry. You can do that in Far Cry 2 when you're driving the cars. You got the music going. But soundtracks, music scores have always spoke to me. Whether it's the nostalgia of the music in Scandal, the appeal of the music in Interstellar, or the whimsical nature of music in show tunes, music has always really appealed to me. And so I want to show you this clip before we kind of start winding down this conversation on the soundtrack side. But I've got to present my screen again. Doo-doo. Well, actually, I can just go straight to that tab. And this is a scene from Family Guy. Doo-doo. Why did it give me that one? That's not the one I want. Nope, that's not the one I want. Yes. Yeah. Okay, well, maybe that was the one I wanted to begin with. All right, so I'm going to play this scene. And this is Lois Griffin, and she's doing a lesson on music. But I thought that's Lois Griffin. Now, the thing is, of course, they are actually kind of doing a parody of something that real musicians do from time to time, and that's walk people through how changing music can or playing different tones and notes can impact the emotions and tell the story. And I just wanted to use that one because I thought it was fun and light, and still drove the point home, even though this is comical. The fact that this music was used, it still did kind of drive. You could hear every bit of it. Before she said the word China, you knew she was talking about, you knew she was playing an Oriental sound. And for anybody who doesn't know, that was literally the sound that was on the old Casio keyboards, not the real keyboards, but the toy keyboards that you bought to people for Christmas and stuff. The little toy keyboards, that was one of the sounds, and I think it was called Oriental Sound 1, and it was 3. And I only remember that because it was one of my favorites. I loved it. But Family Guy remembers it because they use that one a lot. But the point is, you notice how music has an impact on us, right? And so kind of in the same way we just did with the thought experiment about the game, and what is your character's purpose? What is your character's genre? What is your game genre? Is now without music, I would never would have met. You know what? There's a joke in that. There's a joke in that. Never would have made it. But yeah, it's music does become a soundtrack of our lives. This was actually a part of my deconversion process too, when I realized that music had a major impact on my mental health and my relational expectations. And this is why to this day, like, funny thing, I don't listen to the radio. I don't listen to the radio. And it's because I like to be intentional. This goes back to week 1. We talked about this concept of nutrition. I like to be intentional about what information flows through me. That sounds a little wooey, doesn't it? Sounds a little new age. I want the vibes and the energy that flow through me to be on the right frequency, man. But no, it's just like I realize how many times my heart was broke, not because my heart was broke, but because I had listened to so many songs that said this is a heartbroken experience. So I should be heartbroken right now. You know, there were so many times that
that made me, again, we always bring this up, but Monica's song Crossing the Ocean for people.
I will cross the ocean.
And it make you feel like, I didn't do enough for this, so I did everything. I crossed oceans.
Like R&B music is like people wonder like why everybody lie in relationships. R&B music taught us how to lie in relationships. It taught us, girl, I crossed the ocean for you. Well, it was one song like, you're my Cinderella. Hey there, Cinderella. So I can't remember all the words, but there were so many of my ideals about life. Yes, begging you, please. You know, a lot of these. You know, that's how I learned how to feel emotions. This is how I learned how to love. You know, this is how I learned. You know, so like even some of my own early years of hypersexuality came from the hypersexualization of the music that I was in, because this is that I was listening to, because this was a part of what was normal. So it's just like, no, like if we together, this is what we're supposed. I will pay your rent. Like, why we out here lying, girl? Now you want to move in here and we go half on these bills, we can do that. But I can't pay rent at your house. No, let me stop. But we did it. Like, it's these extreme exaggerations. And then I noticed with gospel music, it was a lot of extreme depression.
Yeah.
You know, again, never would have made it without you. Literally, I'm nothing without you. And it sounded like such a beautiful song. I'm nothing without you. And it's like, oh, that's so beautiful, but that is so fucked up.
Yeah.
Like those are words no human being should ever say. You know, like no. And so I realized that how much music, and not just music, but music, media, what I was reading, and what I was engaging in was having an impact on me, and not just the negative ways, and positive ways as well. When I talk to people about my voice and why I sound the way that I do and why I think the way that I do, I pay homage to people like James Earl Jones. You know, I pay homage to Uncle Phil. I pay homage to Kyle Barker from Living Single. Barker, you know, because these people have helped, you know, through media have helped me shape how I wanted to see myself and how I wanted to present myself. And so you find out that in that way, music is very powerful.
Yeah.
So the question is like, what is the soundtrack of your life? And this is something that I kind of want everybody thinking about. This is why I wanted a poll for this, so we could all kind of interact. I wanted this part to be a little more interactive, but so y'all are just gonna have to use them slow fingers and type. All right, but here we go. Like, what is the soundtrack of your life? I love singing along to the lyric. You will eventually die, in a really cheery, bouncy tone. I don't remember the rest of the song now. Holy snap, that sounds like something I would do. You will eventually die in a cheery. You will eventually die. I like stuff like that. I like stuff like that. Damn.
I think at one point, Fantasia's song I resonated with someone. Sometimes you gotta lose
to win again.
To win again.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
At one point,
my granny used to say that you can't win for losing, but no, sometimes you gotta lose to win again. Hey, here's a news flash. All the time you're gonna have to lose to win. Like that, I don't know any perfect wins yet. And again, to me, perfection is an illusion altogether. But no, that is a great example of how music plays that impact. Yeah. What I realized that I started doing, and I've been doing this probably since 2017, is I've actually been writing the soundtrack of my life. Yes. And when I got to these parts in the notes, like I went back and went through my folders to find it, and I was like, holy crap. I actually have been doing this for a while, because that's how important music is to me. And so there's this project that I've been working on that I just called it The Makings of an M. And it's just M, because I hadn't figured out which M I was yet. You know, is it the makings of a millennial? Is it the makings of a messiah? Is it the makings of a madman? You know, or is it just the makings of a Martin? Am I just a Martin at the end of the day? And at the end, I think it's just kind of like the making of a mastermind, because that is how I kind of see myself now, as a person who, you know, I can't be your mastermind, but I am mine. I'm a mastermind the hell out of my life. You know, mastermind that shit is literally, I try, I try. But when actually going back and looking over those songs and trying to identify a sound of my life was very difficult. So because it's kind of like hip hop, it's soul, it's country, it's gospel, it's R&B, it's rock, it's pop, and it's other stuff. Because the whole reason I kind of started making this project was as an unrestricted, self-serving, and self-discovery, a journey of self-discovery. Yeah. So, you know, it's kind of like I do with everything now. I don't really do things like, I don't make my art for other people. You know, if you know, if it makes money, yay. But the whole point is I do it for me. This is a way for me to engage myself in ways that I wasn't really giving myself permission to do before, and to kind of explore different ideals and ideologies that I have. And so I did want to kind of, actually, I'll show y'all this. I'm about to give y'all a piece in my mind. I'm going to show y'all what this is. I got to share screen again. Present colors. Share screen is where I want to go. And we'll go to the making of a millennial. Bam. Okay, so I think it did it right again. So this is This is my stuff. Okay, now you're seeing propriety logos that you're not supposed to see. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring that down. These are proprietary logos. Let me stop.
I know your work. I know your.
Somebody said he joking, but he moved it too though. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so look, I have old people eyes, so I got to make this bigger for me. Forgive me. But these are literally all of the songs that I've been working on since 2017. So I thought it was kind of appropriate with this conversation. I want to make that bigger. That's not bigger.
Yeah, it looks like
that's the biggest it gets. Okay. But I hope y'all can kind of see that there. But, 2017, If We Must Die. And that was definitely coming off of the rails of losing everything, just getting back to that point where we're gaining everything. Still in that place where I'm wrestling with Black consciousness, Black nationalism, Pan-Africanism, and just watching kind of what's going on. I'm not going to go through each of these songs because it's a lot. Yeah. As a matter of fact, it's damn near 50. And these are just songs that I've been writing. These soundtracks of my life. I am going to focus on some of them, but I just kind of wanted to give you a little idea. Black Pain is not a song, it's a poem. So poetry is also a genre on there, but it was actually one of my favorites.
You gonna let them hear one?
I don't know. I don't know. Because none of my stuff is like at production quality, which makes me really disappointed. What you looking at?
I just
Oh, you're gonna correct strength. I pray your strength. Yep. Now that one I recorded in the garage, in the old garage. The list, that song is for you. This one's for you. That's for everybody. Nights I Cried. Now that one is actually available on Amazon for sale. Recording with the sisters at 3, get in the shower. Oh, awesome.
Nice. Thank you.
You Made It Through. Is that the one you that you were listening to today, this morning? Is that the one
You're Enough.
Or You're Enough. You're Enough. You remember
one of my favorites.
You remember the lyrics of You're Enough?
You're not lacking anything because you're enough.
Yeah. Just as you are. And that's what I call like the more like gospel style songs that are reflective. And I say gospel in the sense that they're actually good news. And the good news is you're enough. The good news is the You Made It Through song is like, dang it, you made it through. That's what you do. Like you made it through. You made it. Like I know there's some. Oh no, see that might be You're Enough. I know there was some times. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Because I'd be. But I'm showing you this to show you that my soundtrack for my life is literally all over the place, right? You got songs that are like You're Enough, and then you got songs like Fuck It. Songs like I'm Taking My Seat, Cheat Code, I Believe in You, which these are ones that I put on Facebook. Please do not go look for them because I'm gonna download them and take them down. There is one on YouTube called Live Your Life. Well, and also Nights I Cried is also on YouTube. 50/50 is on YouTube. Nights I Cried is on Amazon. Sig put that on his album. And there's another one I did with Sig that's also on Amazon. But if any of these songs characterized my character right now and was like being played as probably like the #1 song on my soundtrack, it's probably I Can Do Proud All on My Own. That's probably the big one right now.
Yeah.
Because that one is reflective of me. Live Your Life is definitely my background music, but that's really more encouraging for everybody, including me. But I Can Do Proud on My Own is definitely, it's my song. Like every time I'm in the car driving, I am singing this song because that is my state of mind right now.
Yeah. Definitely in my 20s would be You're Enough. Really needed that. And then moving into my 30s, it moves to Live Your Life.
Live Your Life. Yep. Live Your Life. Mm-hmm. I will show one if I have it up. Do I? No, I don't have it up. But
no link.
Oh, okay. I do have the link. Okay, so we'll do I Can Do Proud All on My Own, which means I'm gonna have to share this tab instead.
I don't really need congratulations. I don't really need so proud of me. I don't think I need those conversations. 'cause I can do proud all on my own.
There's a little you know, a little
I think
medley.
I'd rather see cooperation. I think I'd rather feel appreciated. I think I'd rather see some compensation, 'cause I can do proud all on my own. I can do proud all on my own.
Got a little country vibe to it.
I handle these burdens for so long.
You were probably trying to sleep when I did
I
this
handle
too.
these demons on my own.
That note is sharp.
So I can do proud all on my own.
Come on
like
with
that.
it. Come on.
You know, so that, you know, that's, but that is definitely my soundtrack right now. Like that's where life is at for me. And I think probably the past few years, because I think I wrote that song maybe 2023, 2022.
Was it that long ago?
It may have been longer. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. And it was something of realizing, because I think prior to that, I had been living my life to make other people proud. Yeah. And that was the only way I could feel like happy with myself, is if other people were proud of me. Right. And then it finally got to the place like, literally, your pride in me is the least you can do. That is like, I don't like proud. I could do proud all on my own. No, I got that. And I finally gave myself permission to do that, to be proud. And that's where I live now. Like I'm proud of me. And so you coming into my life saying, oh, I am so proud of you. It's not going to get you a special seat. Right. Because proud I can do on my own. If you want to cooperate, oh, that's good. If you want to appreciate, oh, that's good. And if you want to compensate, oh my fucking God, that's even better.
Or mitigate.
Mitigate. Come on now. Like any of the gates, any gates, sates, eights, any of them, all the crazy eights, let's get them. And that's what it came to me, because I did realize that I had got to a place where I'd become so much of a people pleaser that people paid me in pride.
Wow.
That's good. I had become so much of a people pleaser that I allowed people to pay me in pride. Yeah. So the way you pay me is just by being proud of me. And that's enough for me. I'm like a puppy. Good little boy. Yeah. Good boy. Like, no, what? What the hell? No, I can do proud all on my own. Good job. I know. Like, that's what Maya, our youngest daughter, our oldest daughter used to say. Like, oh, Maya, you so beautiful. I know. Maya, you did a great job. I know. Like I used to love it. I used to love it. But all right, so let's kind of close this out. For the gamer, and we've kind of hit all of these in different ways. The focus is information, generation, and iteration. And that information is what information is feeding my current existence. You know, like, so when you're playing an RPG, you get to go in and set your character up. And in some of those games, you can determine what that character is going to need, like endurance. Is that character going to need more strength? Is that character going to need more wisdom? And it's like, you know, you don't have to wait for anybody to give you permission to adjust your character. Yes. You know, you play the game a few times, get your ass beat, and then figure out what you need to do to not get your ass beat. Yeah. Like, in my first book, Significant, that was a major realization that I had when I realized, like, oh, I close my eyes and I see this other life where I went to college earlier instead of doing ministry, and I went to Howard and I got my law degree and I made music. I didn't turn down that record deal. And it was like, that person is so different from me. And it's like, nope, that person actually is you. The only difference between you and that person is that person got into the hypothetical ring and you didn't. Yeah. And so now I get that chance to actually get into the ring. And the way that I do that is by determining, like, oh no, I don't have to wait for God to say, I give you permission to try this. I don't have to wait to know for a fact that this is going to be the thing that works for my life. If I think this is something I want to try, I'm going to try it, and I'm going to use that information to feed my current existence. That's good stuff.
I love that. And earlier you mentioned Fortnite, and those in Fortnite and other games too, you can choose to be a different character.
Yes.
So you can learn other things, and the good thing about games and using that example, when you switch characters, you got to learn their ways. You got to learn how they move and how to control them. What buttons are they pressing, or how do they what are their skills, or how do they fight, and things of that nature. And that's kind of like life. When you looking to take on a new, or be a new, or evolve, you have to learn the ways of that.
That's right. And I think that's one of the things we've forgotten, is that, you know, our games have become so much about entertainment that we forgot that games kind of evolved in society as a way to learn how to engage life. You know, oh man. And then of course, generation, how am I using this information to impact my situation? And then iteration, how can I improve the next time? You know, when you lock yourself into something on, you know, that, oh, I got to get it right, and it's this 10-year goal, you don't get a lot of next times. But when it's day by day, you have a next time. Listen to a podcast the other day on the history of games, and one of the ideas, yes, that was that games are an artwork using agency as the medium. Oh, that's so cold-blooded. Oh, I like that. And so as we're kind of wrapping up, and we did a good time. I think we did incredibly good time. This series was actually based off of a model that I've shared with my teams, with some of my clients, and with mentees. It's the harmonization model, and this model is how I maintain a hyper productive lifestyle without experiencing burnout. It's based on my understanding of social evolution, personal development, community infrastructure, and holistic models of success from varying fields, you know, such as military, athletes, athletics, arts, and technology as well. Because, you know, as I've shared, my thirst is knowledge, you know, and just kind of understanding things and understanding how you can use that knowledge. And I run into so many people who are having trouble just finding comfort being themselves. Just finding a way to engage and navigate life on a daily basis in a way that puts a smile on their face. And that's kind of what I started developing this model for, is to help people live a life that means something to them. And a lot of times to do that, you have to take other people's definitions off of your life, and you kind of got to just figure out who you are. And that's what these kind of 4 phases that we've shared over the past few weeks helps people do. And so if any of you want any more information on this model, please feel free to reach out to me. And of course, go back and watch some of these, the videos in this series. I don't go into as much detail stuff, because honestly, I think that half of y'all would be offended by, like if you came to one of my mentor sessions, your feelings would probably be hurt. Because I am every bit of a coach. And when I say coach, I mean every sense, like, I'm going to help you win. You know, I'm not going to help you feel better about your excuses. But you know, but your therapist will. No, they'll do that. They will do that. And that Sundays, and see, there it is. That's why that's for Bridge City. Bridge City, you know, is more therapeutic. You know, we do those type of things. So you get a much softer version of me on the Sunday sessions and ex-pastor Bible study with an ex-pastor than you will get in any of my actual mentorships.
What's this last video clip? What you butter and something?
Oh, burnt butter biscuits. Oh, we gotta add that to the merch too. Well, because you know, like so many Christians, you know, want to express this spiritual superiority. I'm praying for you, brother. I'm praying for you. And I'm like, if your life looks like burnt butter biscuits, why would I want your prayers? Why would you be offering me something that don't work for you? That shit is rude as fuck. Don't do that. Don't keep your prayers to yourself. You know, like, dang.
The belief that it is working.
But it ain't. And like, if I can look at your life and I'm supposed to think that your prayers don't work for you, but they work for me. No, keep your burnt butter biscuit prayers to yourself.
That definitely has to be a shirt or a hoodie since we're going into the fall.
Right? Burnt butter biscuits. I can almost see the graphic for it. We drive these type of conversations because um, our aim, literally for almost everything we do with DLDD World Group, not just the Bridge and Bridge City, is healthy people, healthy relationships, healthy outcomes. And that's not just an aim, it's damn near a recipe. You can't get healthy outcomes without healthy relationships, and you can't get healthy relationships without healthy people. And so while there are a lot of platforms that are going to spend their time, talking about the larger issues with groups and political parties and nations and regimes, that's not what DLDD World Group focus is. Our focus is people. And so a lot of the stuff that you will hear, especially, but I mean, even on the content outside of Sunday content, is still stuff that's aligned with people, and that's just trying to help people. Because if we can encourage people to feel healthier about themselves and engage the world better, then you get stronger relationships, which means you get stronger volunteers. It means you get stronger supporters. It means you get stronger businesses. It means you get stronger communities. It means you get stronger families. And so that's going to be my obsession, and I think we shared it in the thesis of secular community. It's the people, stupid. That's what it is. So, anytime you're watching our stuff and you say, well, why don't they talk about this? Or why don't they talk about this? Number one, I remind people, don't try to live vicariously through me. Anytime you do that, just say, oh, that's something I could do. Instead of me asking, why isn't somebody else doing what I want them to do? Why don't I just do the things that I want to do? That's a more healthier way to engage the world, to get in the ring. Yeah. And then just number two, recognize that I'm pretty unapologetic about the messaging that we promote. And the messaging is healthy people. That's where we want to go. Better people relationships. It's the people, stupid. That's what it is for me. It's the people. It's the people. All right. So next week's conversation, and then I'm through, babe. I'll let you talk from here. Next week's conversation, we're starting a new series. It may be next week. We may do an interlude next week. I don't know. But the next series of conversations we'll be having will be called Change My Mind. And in those conversations, what we will actually be talking about is, how do minds change? How do our minds change? And I really want to get into some conversations around the idea of neuroplasticity. There were I remember when I was growing up, there were a lot of ideas about brain damage, and so like almost everything you could think of doing negatively was damaging your brain, And then it turns out that it wasn't quite as informed as we thought. Is that you weren't actually damaging your brain, you were changing it. And that's where this idea of neuroplasticity comes from. And so in talking about changing our mind, especially being almost everybody who's engaging these shows has changed their minds about something, if not at least one big thing, i.e. religion, right? You've changed your mind about God or religion or angels or demons or maybe denominations or whatever. And so in that, we'll be dealing with that, but then also dealing with how the mind actually changes and how to change not necessarily someone's mind, but how you change your mind. And also how to respect the processes of mind change so you don't get pissed off when somebody doesn't change their mind based off of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's important.
Yeah, because a major part of what feeds what we think and what feeds our minds is our own lived experiences. Yeah. And I so often see people trying to change other people's minds without interrogating that lived experience. Yeah. And you're going to have a hard time changing that mind. But then also is because the quickest way to change your life is to change your mind. That's good stuff, isn't it? That's good stuff. All right. I think I'm done.
Well, this was a great conversation. Thank you to all for tuning in, commenting. We love to receive your comments and feedback. Remember to come back and replay it and comment again. Once it gets off the live, we definitely appreciate it. We thank you for all who have tuned in to all the Sunday sessions
Yes.
so far.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
We definitely appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, join the community. We have Patreon, YouTube. We also have a Discord that you can join as well. Consider checking out staffing.dldd.us, which we put in the chat earlier, and we'll drop the website again in just a moment as well. Hey, consider bringing a friend tonight for the ex-pastor call-in show. We're excited about that. If you have questions, hey, bring your questions ready. We'll have the process of going to the screen, how to get in the screening room, and how to join that as well. Share with any and everybody that you can. If you are financially, if you're interested in supporting us financially or have already done so, we definitely appreciate you. But we have made it easy for you to do so. Yes, super thanks, super chats, all the supers. You can purchase merch. You can look in the description. As well to see other ways that you can support. But your financial support, we actually use to improve the quality and quantity of the channel content. So we appreciate you for those who have done so. We develop support resources, networks, and projects to accelerate people-centric community development nationally and globally. So we definitely have some goals there. And listen, as my husband always say, every week or every time we jump on a video, if you're not able to support financially, that's okay. Sharing, liking the video, commenting helps us a lot as well. We thank you for that support. Do what you are able to feasibly do.
Yeah.
You know, we're practical. Your money, use your money for what you need to use it for. But we thank you for those who are able to contribute in every way. And did you drop the links or did okay?
I dropped the Discord because we do now have a community engagement leader, and that is Dale Gray, advocating for humanity, and has been faithfully working to make sure that we are building community on our Discord platform. So for those of you who are interested in hanging out with other members, which is so funny, that was one of the main reasons we kind of dropped out of those, other than the technology thing, is because and I think I said it in the last one that I was really in, is that the goal is to build community amongst each other, not around us,
Yeah.
And I don't want to be in the room and feel like all the questions and conversations are going towards me. I really want, I want community. Even when I was a pastor, I used to be like this, where when we did our family and friends day, which is, by the way, something we're going to integrate here. But when we did our family and friends day and we'd always eat together and stuff like that, I would purposefully eat separate to keep everybody else engaged with each other. Because the first few times that we did it, when I ate with everybody, all attention was on me. People are coming to my table, to talk to me, and they're not talking to each other. And then eventually you get a line of people that are coming to talk to you, and I'm just like, oh no. So I finally told my team, I said, I think I'm gonna go eat in my office. Actually, what I did was I started eating after everybody else ate. So I'd go in, walk around, shake hands, hug people, go from table to table, and just remind people, hey, sit down, eat, enjoy yourself. And then after everybody had kind of got in the flow, then I go to my office and eat. And so that's one of those things that we really hope that you get value of in this community, is all of the other amazing people that are a part of this community. And that's where great ideas are going to come from. That's where great activities are going to come from. And that's how we're just going to build an excellent community. So for those of you who have some time after today's show, please feel free to jump in the post hangout session. As soon as we get our technology stuff right, we're going to work on a schedule of getting us in there as well. And then going back to the family and friends day, we are going to start kind of integrating that as well too. So instead of just we'll have a session where we're celebrating our volunteers, celebrating our friends, having a good time, and then possibly after the show or during the show, we'll actually play some Kahoot or do some karaoke or something like that.
Yes.
to actually build community. All right, that was enough of me interrupting. I'm sorry.
No, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Now, if you find any value in this work that we are doing, consider joining us in whatever way that makes sense for you. If you see in the chat, I dropped a link with the form. You can connect with this community, which we call BridgeCity Global. Learn different ways to connect. You can learn by attending and participating in these conversations, grow by exploring and engaging diverse ideas and perspectives, and support by volunteering and giving according to your reasonable capacity. So you'll see that form. Have you decided to accept the invitation to connect to Bridge City? Let us know. We would love to hear from you. And as you see, my husband put in the chat, and I also put in the chat. If you want to learn more about our work beyond the bridge, visit our website, which is always under construction. So we thank you for the grace. But you can go to dldd.us, which is very easy to read. It's just our initials.
Yep, DL. Yeah. I'm DL, just DD.
Yes. So we appreciate all of the support, all of the contributions.
For sure.
Those who express interest in volunteering already, and those who have jumped in to help us.
Yep. All right. And of course, don't forget to meet us back here tonight, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, for the Ex-Pastor Call-In show, where Ex-Pastor Kyle Butler is going to be on with us. Thank you all for hanging out with us today. We love you all so much. Keep, I was going to say keep rising. I think I was going to say keep hanging out, but don't forget to hang out in the Discord. We love you all so much. Until next time, be the bridge.
JWoodBeats.com. I can do anything. Fuck your opinions and energy. I finally got the epitome. My biggest hindrance was God can't do nothing but fail. Greater is me. I never needed your deity. All of this human capacity. When it gets rough, I can pick myself up and prevail. I can do anything. Fuck your opinions and energy. I finally got the epitome. My biggest hindrance was God can't do nothing but fail. Greater is me. I never needed your deity. All of this human capacity. When it gets rough, I can pick myself up and prevail.